and it's now part of my history. And I hit refresh. And that's my closed activity. So from a sales process standpoint, I'm able to look what it took to create the opportunity, to close the opportunity, and then to go to the level of auditing to see how many steps were followed and anything that happened there. So with that, we went over on our 30 minutes, but I want to open it up, see if anybody has any questions, talk about it. I know it was a general overview about the sales and the sales aspect of it. I think we covered most of the items with regards to sales, but I'm certainly happy to drill in and talk about any particular questions that anybody might have.
Unmuted.
Go ahead and unmute the call. So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and speak up.
Could you describe further the process of taking a lead into an information gathering stage and into a further degree of information gathering, and then the eventual conversion into a customer?
So when you say information gathering, are you talking about qualification, for example, of a lead?
Yeah, where you gather more information, you see which products are best for that customer. You get a better handle on just what the customer's needs are and what products are best suited for the customer, what the volume levels are.
Yeah, sure. Let me talk about that a little bit. And you're actually bringing up a point that I skipped over that I'm going to come back and this will probably help cover it a little bit. What I've got is I've got a vanilla lead form here. I don't have any fields on here that are specific to a business process other than the rating about this customer, whether or not they're hot or warm. So when we talk about the information gathering or we talk about the qualification of this lead, I'm going to go ahead and need to add some information here specific to my sales process. And my lead qualification process could be just fields on here saying, you know, what is my next step? Where do they come within the ecosystem? What products are they interested? That could be a relation to our existing products, or it could be drop-downs. When I go ahead and select, all right, I've qualified this person from a warm to a hot based on an activity that's happened, so I've had a phone call with them, that could then fire off a workflow that could create new activities associated with them. So this would be a field that we would come in and we customize specific to what our qualification process is. Let me open up the account form that we had. I've got the account form here. And when I had talked about 50% of what we see of organizations using accounts as leads, there's a lot of reasons like I talked about. We've got the notes tracking through it. We are able to create multiple contacts that are associated to the account. And there's already the built-in relationship type. So when I expand the relation type field on the account, I'm able to select, what is this? Is this a customer? All right, that's fine. That's my segmentation. But is this a customer or is it a prospect? So I've just gone away from the concept of creating this whole separate entity and managing leads and creating it all, and I'm working directly within the account form. And the account form has a lot of advantages to working with it. There's a lot of predefined fields. I can create a lot more richer information directly from it. And I just need to remember from my segmentation standpoint, when I open up my accounts or my customers within CRM, I may see active customers that are doing business with, but I also may see them broken up by prospects. If I come back and I go over here to my opportunities, I'm able to look at here's my opportunity that I had. I'm able to look at my potential customer as part of that because I've got an opportunity associated with it, my probabilities, all that stuff that I'd updated from a snapshot. Does that answer the question about qualification or gathering information?
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to get with Beth to make sure I further understand how it's set up in our system.
Yeah, and I think, you know, to really address the point about how it's set up, that is the answer to the question. There is the only thing that's built in out of the box is the lead conversion process. So I open up that lead and I click on the convert button. That's built in there to allow the conversion. Now, what is the action that's going to allow me to get up to that point where I'm going to convert that lead? That's what we need to define, and that's something that we can help define, or you can define. I will put out there too that when we're working with an integrated system, that process may be automated. So we may have a lead qualification process that works with a back-end system. Something on the back-end system happens, it will automatically trigger the lead that will convert it over to an account or to a customer.
Can you go through the sales cycle funnel? I think on the original email that I received. It showed a picture of a funnel, and I'm wondering, like, say, with these different estimated revenues and probabilities, how you get the picture up graphically and so forth.
Yeah, the picture that went out was was related to the funnel activity, and so here's an example of a snapshot that we have. When we talk about funnel, we're talking about pipeline. I can open up the pipeline report and run that too. Here's an example of some of the graphics that we can utilize. The CRM Online has a really neat funneling tool that shows the information, but that's just one example of how to display the data through the system. This is one I've got a number of days opened, but the idea or the concept around the funnel is one in which data is expressed graphically, and so the funnel is the most common one, but we have a lot of different options that we can explore around there. So if you have a specific need or a specific desire around it, let's talk. I will admit that the systems are a little bit disparate, whether or not you're CRM Online or whether or not you're CRM on-premise. The CRM Online has things out of the box that we can leverage from day one that are very easy to configure from a user's perspective. The online, we have to load those through the accelerator. So this would be an example of an accelerator that's been loaded, that's been configured.
Mark, hi. Could you review a little bit about how to write a workflow?
Sure. So I wanted to write a workflow. I didn't want to take the time if people had to drop off earlier, but I will go ahead and write a quick workflow right now. So whoever asked that question is my new best friend, because I was looking for an excuse to do it. So I'm going to come in here to settings, and I'm going to select workflows. And you can see there's a whole bunch of workflows already written. That I paused them all. I put them into draft mode, and I'm going to select a new workflow. So your ability to come in and write a workflow is going to be controlled by your system access. Not everybody has the ability to write a workflow. They may not even see this one. They may not even see settings at all. But when I click on settings and I come to workflows, I've got the ability to look at my workflows, and you can see my view is my workflows, and I can change my view to all workflows or draft workflows or whatever I want to see from a workflow standpoint. I'm just going to change that to public workflows. So these are the ones that I've got published that are running. Okay. I've got one running on the lead, and I've got one running on the opportunity. I can go ahead and create a new one. And I'm going to go ahead and do this on the opportunity. So this is my favorite workflow to write, because everybody gets excited by this one. And I'm going to go ahead and write it on the opportunity. So I give it a workflow name that has to be unique, and I select OK. And what happens is it opens up the user interface saying, all right, here's the workflow. I can go ahead and change the name. I can't change the entity that's applied for. If I take a look at the options for the automatic workflow, the scope is whether or not it's going to be for the user or whether or not it's going to be for the entire organization. So do I want this workflow to only fire for me and for my opportunities? No, I'm going to write this for the entire organization, and you'll see why after I finish writing it. Let me go ahead and expand it. Okay. When do I want this workflow to fire? Well, the default is when the record is created. So when a new opportunity is created, this workflow, whatever I define it, is going to fire. In the case of what I'm going to do here, I don't want to do it there. I want to do it when a record attribute changes. So I have all of these different options of when the workflow gets executed. I'm going to select the record attribute. And a record attribute is a record field. So any of the fields that we saw in the opportunity, any of those ones I talked about, the PO date, the PO number, those are all attributes. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to open it up, and it's going to say, here's every attribute that's on the form. Where do you want this to fire on? Well, I want it to be based on the estimated revenue. So I say OK. So when the estimated revenue gets updated or gets changed, this is going to fire. Now what's going to happen? What's going to happen is I'm going to put in a check condition. And I'm going to describe the check condition, and I'm going to say, check for revenue amount. And I'm going to click the condition. And the condition is, again, going to be on the estimated revenue for the opportunity. So I've selected the opportunity. And if I say it's greater than, and this is the best part about it, if it's over, say, $300,000, I'm going to have a series of events that occur. So I work with an organization. I may be setting up workflows that are going to fire on opportunities, and maybe $300,000 is a lot. Maybe that's a huge sale, right? Well, let's say maybe it's a $3,000 opportunity, or maybe it's a $30,000. Whatever a large opportunity for the organization is, I want to do a number of different things because I want to reflect back up to my manager that I've got a great opportunity that's coming, and the estimated revenue is really high. I wouldn't normally want to bother you with this, but hey, you should really look at this. I don't even have to worry about it. My manager can go ahead and create this and I'll automatically assign it. If estimated revenue is greater than 300,000, what do we want to do? We want to select this row.